What's up to all my artists and creators out there? Welcome back to the Mind Your Newness channel. I'm Apostle Steve, and today I'm going to walk you through an expressive piece. It's going to be like a collage slash painting, but I'm going to show you step by step how I go through the process, my methods, and even show you how I put my embellishments and detail work in it. So get your popcorn, get your coffee, tea, and meet me back here in a few. All right, so I am back, and I just want to show you some of the materials that we're going to be using today. I got a bunch of material, textiles that I bought when I was over in Africa. So we're going to use some material today so I can show you how I use material with collage. I found this piece. It's a photocopy of a train and a bunch of little random sketches that I may use or may not use. You know, just a bunch of random sketches that I found that were kind of stored in a bin, and we'll use them today. Also, I have my acrylic paints. We'll probably just be using the regular primary colors, and I always use these they're oil pastel sticks, and I love using these for embellishments at the end. Now, in terms of brushes, we'll probably just use my normal go-to, which is a flat brush, and of course, we're going to work in our pad. But let me show you some of the work that I've done thus far. This was a piece that I did in an earlier video, and as you can see, you know, I use the oil pastels at the end to kind of like put little embellishment work in it. It's just layers and then paint on top of layers. There's another piece that I did, again using random old sketches from a notepad, some photocopies, and a lot of textured paper, but I incorporate and little strokes in the end, right? There's another piece I did using some magazine photos, sketches again, and random textured and printed paper. You know, this piece right here is just me scribbling with crayon on a green piece of paper, and I think that worked out pretty well. I did this piece last night. So yeah, so today we're going to start a new piece. Oh, that's a piece that I did previously. So today we're going to start a new piece, starting on this blank page, and we'll get started in a few. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay in some material. We're going to lay down a foundation. I'm just going to have a few strips laid out. I think I will use, I don't know, maybe I'll do something like this. All right, I don't want to overthink this. I'm just going to start with these and just allow the piece to start taking shape. So again, first thing that I always do is I lay down a foundation. As you can see with gel medium, if you're using material, you want to make sure that you get all the air bubbles out. But the cool thing about it is you can lay the gel medium right over the material as well, and it'll seep through all the porous areas so that it'll stick well. So we're just going to lay down a few pieces very randomly. Then you want to make sure that you're squeezing out all the little air bubbles. And as you can see, there's a little bit of sheen on top, but that will dry clear and you won't even know that it's there. Okay, so we got our first pieces laid down. Again, I'm just drawing from my collection of scraps, and I'm just kind of making a composition as I go along. I think I'll throw in another piece here, kind of like this star. So maybe we'll put it on, maybe we'll put it over here in the corner. All right. Again, you don't want to overthink this. Just go with your gut. I have somewhat of a composition that I like so far. There's probably some other things that I can do, but right now I'm kind of feeling it. Maybe I'll use just kind of rummaging through my paper here. Okay, I think we'll use this right here. Yeah, we'll put it on top of there, right? Yeah, I think it can go right on top. And as you can see, I am applying this medium very generously. You want to make sure that your edges are glued properly. And any excess glue, you can kind of just swipe to the side. Make sure those corners are nice and tight, laid down. I really like this right here, so I'm going to bring some more of that into the piece. Yeah, so you never know where the design is going to take you. So just be free with it. You know, you can be as random as you want to be. So I'm not going to go too crazy because I tend to go overboard with these things sometimes. So I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to keep it simple. So that's my first step. I always lay down a simple composition. And the next step that we'll do is we'll start laying some paint in some of the negative space areas, filling these white areas, and to kind of, you know, start bringing all the elements together. I never know exactly how this is going to go, but I just kind of follow my gut, you know? A lot of this is just intuitive, and you got to learn how to trust your intuition, you know? So yeah, I found this sketch and I cut it up, so we're going to lay it right in here. I think this will be a great place for it. And as you see, I lay down a layer of gel medium, and then I brush right on top of it. You don't have to worry because you can paint right over the medium. So cool. We're going to put this piece here. And again, you can be as generous as you want with the medium. Don't worry about overlapping other pieces that you already have on the page, because we're going to paint right over it. And I'm going to cover up this little space right here. All right. And again, you know, you're going to get like, this stuff is pretty thick, you know, but it dries clear. You don't have to worry about an uneven look. Everything's going to dry clear. So I think that we have a start. Before we get into the next phase, which is we're going to lay down some paint to kind of tie things together. Yeah, let's take a break and let's come back to it. Okay, we are back. Step 2. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start laying in some paint, and I'm just going to kind of extend these borders here. And I feel like this area is a bit busy, so we're going to tone that down with some white. So let's get started. I'm going to mix some white, some black in there. Let's just lay in a little bit of gray. Nope, want to go a little bit darker. Let's get this little corner in here too. Not too concerned about being too neat. The idea is just to fill up these little spaces and to get everything to tie together, right? I think that is looking much, much better, but I'm still concerned about the busyness in this area. So we're going to do something about that. You could just kind of work the areas that you see need attention and take your time with it. I made a little mistake there, but that's okay. We're not going for perfection here, right? We're just kind of going with the flow. So give yourself some grace if you feel like you make a mistake. Don't worry about it. The idea is not to obsess over, every little detail, because even if you make a mistake, those mistakes often turn out to be blessings in the end. Like over here, all right? I didn't intend to cover up this area, but I did. And look at that, right? It's got this distressed look to it now that it didn't before. So, yeah, if you make a mistake, just see how you can work with it, and you can oftentimes pull these colors down into the piece a little bit further, and that starting to look like something. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this white. I'm actually going to use a knife and kind of pull the white into this area here. So I don't know how this is going to look, but I'm just going to go for it. And that's not bad, right? So far, so good. I think that white gives it that distressed look that I love. And it kind of tones it down too. So this area was like really bright, and this white really helps to tone it down. See, I'm using the broad side of this knife, and it's really like giving like this textured look to it. And pull it into this black a little bit as well. It's a cool look, Looks pretty cool, right? A little bit more. I think that looks pretty cool, but I don't want to overdo it. I have a tendency just to go crazy sometimes, so I got to learn how to pull back. But I really, really like this textured look over here. So, and sometimes you have to know how to call it quits too. So, I think I'm going to stop there. We're going to let this dry. Do some type of stencil work over this, but we're going to let this dry for now. Of course, I can't help myself. And we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see what we can do to embellish these areas. All right, I'm back again, and this is the final step. Now, I took a look over it, and there's just a few more pieces that I want to put onto the piece. Well, I figured that I needed to get some focal points of color. Put one here. I just wanted to add some color spots to these areas. Yeah, I like that. We're going to add a little bit of black over here. Whoop. Roll it with the brayer. Yeah, got that little grunge look there. I like that. Maybe add a little bit of black. Oops. Want to be careful. So a few drops here and there. All right, that looks pretty cool, right? Now we're going to take our oil pastel. This is the part that I love. Just gonna kind of, whoa, I forgot. I love doing this, adding these little embellishments, little scribble. I don't know. I just kind of like add these little, I don't know what to call them. I'll call them doodads. Just kind of add them here and there, just to kind of give the piece a little bit of some character. I'm going to take a marker and add a little outline over here. Oh, maybe I add a little symbol in here. And that's it. I'm going to sign it. And we are done. Yep, we are done. And that's it, y'all. That's how I do a collage piece. Expressive. They always seem to take on a life of their own. And I always find a little something to add to them. But I don't want to overdo it. I think that's it. I think I am done. And I hope you enjoyed this. So there you have it. That's how I go through my process of doing expressive collage piece. I hope you got something out of it. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I love you all. Have a blessed day. And I will see you guys again.